Can you beat Palworld with only humans? That is a question I set out to answer. Since Palworld is being hit with a massive lawsuit, I decided to play the game just in case the game gets taken down. And what did I decide to do today? Beating the game with only humans. Is it possible? Let's find out. Before we start our run, we have to create our character. And who did we decide to make? Mr. Beast. Okay, I know, it's old, but this video was shot over 2 months ago, so bear with it. We spawn in and get right into the gameplay. So what do I define as beating the game? Well, defeating all Alpha Pals, defeating all Legendary Pals, and conquering all Syndicate towers. But Wrath, why aren't the raid bosses on this list? We'll get to that later. And what about the oil rig? I said! We'll get to that later. With our goals established, let's go over the rules. I can only capture and use humans, meaning no smelting, electricity, travel, or fighting with pals. Additionally, I will only limit myself to one base to make travel harder. I will also put the difficulty to hard, making the game even harder. With all that out of the way, let's get into the challenge. The early game is pretty slow, as we have no humans near spawn, and the ones we can encounter can typically call the police on us. However, there is one human that we can capture pretty early, the One-Ring Merchant. The merchants are pretty useless all around, but they do provide value in that they sell ammo and resources. So we craft a bow and arrow and try to capture one. With our first human captured, we can now start getting things done. But before that, we need to give him a name. And what did I decide to name him? Chris. Alright, this is the last time I'll mention any Mr. Beast related stuff. With Mr. Beast and Chris reunited, they set out to recreate one of their most successful videos. The 100-Day Circle video. To recreate this video, they needed to find 100 contestants willing to compete. So they head out trying to find someone, and they come across this human camp, set up in the middle of the map, which didn't end well. So we tried again, and again, until we finally managed to recruit someone who we named Subscriber 2. Okay, I'll admit, this wasn't the most creative name, but it can't get any worse. Are you We continue trying and capturing more humans. Yep, I failed. Guess I gotta restart then. And there we go, back where we left off. This time around, I felt bad about naming the humans just Subscriber 1 and 2, so instead, I named them after you guys, naming them Galaxy A31-SF1QV, Lisa Doodle 4863, and lastly, Vinay999FF, my first ever subscriber. And if you ever want to be featured and have your name in one of these videos, make sure to leave a comment and subscribe so that I know for next time. I love including you guys in my videos. And thank you for 690 subscribers. It means a lot. I continued trying to find more humans and dying in the process. So I took a step back and built a beautifully furnished home. Welcome to my humble abode. Ignore the corpse on my front lawn. Inside we have my persona. His name is Reggie. We also have this antique town square bell. Don't ask which Croatian village I stole this from. And then we don't talk about him. After finishing our home tour, we headed out exploring again and maybe playing on 2 duct tape toasters was a bad idea. We capture some humans, discover new hotspots, and come across this interesting human camp. Why is it interesting? Because it has a new human, Grenadiers. And little did I know, but these guys were gonna be very, very useful. We tried to capture one, and die. And again, and again. I died a lot of times. Instead, I went on to catch other humans, naming them Animation Person, Lil Jai Mr. Bean, Dare Carrington, and Randomer339. I then attempted the weakest alpha fight in the game, and the humans did no damage at all, which makes sense since the only thing humans can do is punch. Naturally, we lost, and I tried yet again to catch the Grenadiers, and this time we were successful. I then decided to try one out in the base to see if they're any better than the normal humans. And the Grenadiers somehow did 10 times the damage the normal humans did. Actually, I do know how. You see, this isn't the first time I've attempted this challenge. Back in March, I attempted this challenge, but life has a way of throwing a curveball into things. In the original video, I had this whole bit where I explained how the human damage worked and the math behind it, and the math made no sense. The only conclusion I could draw was that the Grenadiers dealt explosive damage, and that was the reason why they dealt so much damage. And with that out of the way, we head back out and catch some more of them, naming them Joe Exotic, Joe Schmo, Joe Biden, and Joe Rogan. After grabbing the Joe squad, we then run to the Chile Alpha, re-challenging him. Having had a taste of victory, I ran around challenging other Alpha Pals, defeating the Alpha Gumas and Sweepa. And when I came back to the base, I had realized I reached level 13, meaning we had gained access to the furnace. And with the furnace, we could smelt ore into ingots. So I got to building, and when I was about to start smelting, we need a fire pal to get these ingots, which of course we can't get because it would violate the rules. So there is no way for us to acquire ingots. Or is there? While I was searching through the Palworld wiki, I found that there was one pal that drops ingots, Bushi, and by coincidence, there was an Alpha Bushi in the middle of the map. So I ran there with haste and challenged the boss. Oh no 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 no. Yeah, that didn't go to plan. But I hadn't given up yet. I found out that Bushi naturally spawns underneath the volcano. So I ran there as fast as I could, finding this cool fishing village and a whole bunch of Bushi. But the Bushi below the volcano were even higher level. Feeling defeated, I headed back to the fishing village where I would stumble across something incredible. That's right, a gun. This merchant right here sells you a makeshift pistol for 17,000 gold, a huge leap in our current tech tree. But to get this weapon, we have to gather an astounding 17,000 gold. So I went around the map and killed Alpha Pals and plundered their loot. We sold it off to the merchant and acquired our first gun. Now with the right to bear arms, we naturally run off and try it out on Alpha Pals. And the damage. Oh! Knowing that the damage output from the handgun was high, I went and offed the last Alpha Pal in the southern hemisphere, below level 20. And with him off the list, that means that the only thing left to do will be challenging the Syndicate tower. But there was one small issue, our ammo. Sure, we have 100 bullets, but that's the problem. We only have 100 bullets. The Syndicate boss has 20 times the health of a normal Alpha, so we would run out of ammo before we can take down the boss. The only way to get the gun would be to grind Alpha Pals in caves, but that wouldn't be time efficient. For every gun with 300 durability and 300 bullets, we would have to waste 52,000 gold each time. The most profitable items to sell would be rubies, dragonstones, and pelt, which each goes for 500 gold. But obtaining only one of these items requires going into a dungeon and clearing it. So for every 10 minutes spent in a dungeon, we would get 500 gold, which would subsequently mean it would take a whole 18 hours just to get one gun. It was simply not worth it. But luckily for us, I had just the method to get us that gold. Black Marketeers, a level 40 NPC you can find out and about in the overworld. Normally, he will trade you pals for gold. However, a little known secret is that the Black Marketeer drops between 5,000 and 9,000 gold when you kill him. With that said, how do we kill him? The Black Marketeer has around 25,000 HP and 200 defense, which is incredibly high in comparison to our puny weapons. Well, do I have the solution for you? If you put a snare trap under the Marketeer's feet, he'll become snared. And if you place a campfire under him, the Marketeer will begin to burn. After some time, the Marketeer will die, dropping the gold and a golden key. A very nice bonus. All that's left is to kill them, over and over. And after a while of killing marketeers, we had gotten 100,000 gold. Okay, I might have gone a little overboard, but it was just so satisfying. We buy our prized handgun and a fire crossbow for some overtime damage, and prepare to fight the Syndicate boss. And there we go, our first Syndicate boss. A huge milestone for this challenge. And where does this put us in the progression of the challenge? To get some progression, I went out killing more alphas, taking Broncherry, Grimtail, Azuro, and King Paka off the list. Afterwards, I went out and claimed all fast travel points on the map to make travel easier, until I came across the below zero area. And this stupid mountain! On top of this mountain is the last Syndicate tower in the game, and it's virtually impossible to get to the top. Originally, you're supposed to get to the top on a flying mount, but guess what? We can't do that. I tried for 2 hours to climb this mountain, and I got nowhere near the top. It's impossible. So how are we gonna beat the game when we can't access the last tower? Stick around and see what immaculate plan I've cooked up. I gave up and returned to base and looked at all the items we had collected. Throughout my journey, I had caught many humans, so I started naming them all after my subscribers. Photonix, Jacob the Ultimate, Catmations the Gamer, Bottle Gaming, Peter Sale, Karen Weisgerber, Monica Martinez, Jimster Bean, Swagel, Jalal Buyan, Joe Garcia, Vico Good, Rhonda Warrington, Karen McCarthy, Guardian Fox, The Talk Steak, Luca999, Laura W, Red Pit, Adam Jamal, Dan W is okay, Depresso Espresso, and Random Panther. Getting 19 new subscribers. With that out of the way, we can focus on a new goal, defeating the second Syndicate tower. There was only one issue: I was underleveled. So I went out and defeated a bunch of new alphas, adding Nightwing, Dumud, Catris, Felbat, Quivern, Fanglope, and finally, Bushi to the list of defeated pals. I'm beginning to see a pattern in these videos. With our play level at a comfortable 25, I decided that it was about time to take on the second Syndicate tower. Yep, I died. Not once, not twice, 7 times. I could not for the life of me defeat this boss, and the closest attempt I got to killing her was at 1/4 of her health, with 20 seconds remaining. At this stage of the game, she was virtually impossible to defeat. So I took a step back and went back to the drawing board. What could we do to increase our odds of beating the boss? And then it hit me. Well, several things did. The Pal statue. By sacrificing the souls of the dead, we could enhance the health and attack stats of our pals. So we power up Joe Rogan, making him into a roided Rogan. But that alone was not enough. So I had to think even harder about something that could help. And it was something that I had completely forgotten about: Bushi. Earlier in this video, I mentioned that while I was searching through the Palworld wiki, I found that there was one PAL, that drops ingots. Bushi. With the ingots, we could upgrade our arsenal from a makeshift handgun to a full-on handgun. And now that we've managed to defeat the alpha, we could do it again. And so I started killing Bushi, where I encountered a problem. It doesn't drop many ingots. When defeating the Bushi, it drops 1 to 3 ingots. The boss respawns once per hour, meaning we would get 1 to 3 ingots per hour. And to craft a handgun, you need 50 ingots. Not to mention you need a high quality workbench, requiring an additional 20 ingots. So in total, we need 70 ingots. So it could take anywhere from 24 to 70 hours. And you wanna know the worst part? I did it. I would sit around and wait for Bushi to spawn, kill it, and go back to waiting. It got so bad that I would be sitting in my classes, grinding Bushi, while my teacher explained what a function was. I even started cackling like a lunatic whenever I killed the Bushi. I've lost it. I am worried for my mental health. But after 47 hours of grinding, we finally got our handgun. On top of that, grinding Bushi gave a lot of XP, leveling us up to level 29. So with more firepower and a higher level, we re-challenged the boss. And die. Yep, it was still not enough. I got my face kicked in many times before finally I had a good fight. Yes! Yes! Finally! Oh my god. Yes! 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 Oh my... Needless to say, I was happy. After that mind-numbing experience, we returned to base and take some time relaxing and looking at the progression of this challenge. Oh, you gotta be Anyway, I went back to grinding Bushi for more ingots. Because if the Lylene boss fight was this hard, I could not imagine how hard the next one would be. And bear in mind, this was the second Syndicate tower, out of 5. So for the next boss fight, I wanted to go in prepared. So I grinded Bushi, a lot of Bushi. I even felt ballsy enough to kill the ones below the volcano. And so after a while of grinding, and witnessing whimsical activities, I had obtained enough ingots to craft full metal armor and a mega shield. The strongest and last upgrade we'll be getting through this challenge. Afterwards, I went out to kill even more alphas, going from 15 to 28 eliminated. I returned to base and decided it was time to do some refurnishing. Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. I thought it was important to highlight. While at the base, a new item introduced in the most recent update had caught my attention. The elixirs. Ooh. These drinks will give you a permanent boost in one of your stats. And with these elixirs, I could max out all my stats. There were 2 ways of obtaining them. One way is to find them in supply drops that drop randomly around the map, and the other is to craft them. And as you can see, it is not cheap. So I ran around and tried to gather the ingredients, and with everything I gathered, I could make 1 elixir. Needless to say, I would not be grinding for the elixirs. So in what other way could I get stronger? More subscribers. There were many different types of humans on the island, but only one had caught my eye, the Syndicate Elite. I already explained that the Syndicate Grenadiers deal that high amount of damage because of the explosives, so imagine that, but with a bazooka. Catching one of these elites was not easy, as they're accompanied by 1 to 4 Syndicate hunters who will gun you down on sight, but after a lot of persistence, I managed to catch him. I also tried to catch a Crusher, but he did not want to get caught. So when I returned to base, I had to test him out. That's a lot of damage. I need more of him! But there was one slight issue. Spheres. To catch one of these elites, you had to have a higher tier of Pal Sphere, ranging from Gigasphere to Ultimate Sphere, so our regular and Megaspheres wouldn't do, and crafting the higher tiers wouldn't do either, since they're either too expensive or require the assembly line, a crafting station we cannot use because we don't have power. So how would you go about obtaining even more powerful Pal Spheres? I searched through the wiki and found this comment that said you could find legendary spheres near Jet Dragon, a legendary pal. And the internet never lies, right? So I ran all the way to Jet Dragon, searching every single chest on the way, and I found nothing. On another note, I found that these wrecks actually give high value loot, which includes hyperspheres. So this got me thinking, what if scrap from more dangerous regions had higher loot tables? So I crafted a grappling hook, put on my cold resistant armor, and went to check it out. And my intuition was right. The scrap here gave me ultra spheres. Wonderful. I went back out and caught some more elites. And when I returned, I had amassed a large box full of humans. And of course, I had to give them names. Lightning Round, Oliver, Crazy Nate, Sterling, Uncreative, Cool Muffin, Lost to, Skill Enjoy, Nice Island, Garfield, Violet Skies, Claiming Place, Dr. Dorito, Netta B, Wagawoo, Waterman, Landon, Leila Carvalho, Cal the Plague Doctor, Raspberry, Dalwick, Claire, Podcat, Your Favorite Australian, Frogman, and Horizon Hunter. If I butchered one of your names, please submit a formal notice in the comment section. Now, moving on. With our new humans, we had acquired a huge power spike, but I still yearned for more. And how could I get more powerful? Grenades. Grenades deal 3 times as much damage as our handgun, and they have the added effect of stunning, freezing, or burning the enemy, depending on the grenade. But this still wasn't enough. I needed more. But there was one final upgrade we could get. The handgun. Wait. Haven't we already got it? Yes. But this one is different, for you see, this one is legendary. Through my playthrough, I came to discover that some alpha pals drop legendary blueprints. Bushi dropped us a legendary crossbow blueprint, so that means that another alpha pal can drop us a legendary handgun blueprint. And a quick Google search reveals that the Beacon Alpha drops the schematic, so I went out and fought the alpha. Many times. Unlike Bushi, the alpha respawns every 30 minutes, so I had time to run around and kill all the other alphas before rematching Beacon. It took so long obtaining this stupid schematic that I managed to reach level 40 purely by killing this stupid bird. And as some sick twisted joke, I managed to get a legendary musket blueprint from the Quivern Alpha. Just why? Why? But after a while of grinding, I finally got it. I swiftly returned to base to craft it, just to realize 300 ingots! Yeah, my reaction says everything. I took a break from grinding and went mountain climbing so that we could get the fast travel point to the 3rd Syndicate Tower. And when I reached the top, I claimed the Syndicate Tower? Wait, does that mean I beat the 3rd Syndicate boss? No, I'm not counting that. I stopped putting off grinding the ingots and got to it right away. And I'm telling you, this took ages. The grinds before were bad, but this one was even worse. This literally brought me to the brink of insanity, and was so bad that I literally made a spreadsheet about how many ingots I got per run. And after non-stop grinding for 7 hours, I got my ingots. And oh my god, peace at last. All that's left is to craft the handgun. Yep, this was gonna take a while. It got so bad that I went back out and grinded more Bushi just to get a large toolbox, which boosts your pal's crafting speed. I even put in a human with the artisan skill, but it would still take hours. And you know what I did? I walked away. I went to my classes, went to the gym. edited this cool samurai video, and filmed a job interview. And when I got back to my setup, it wasn't even done! It had been literal hours! How does it take this long to finish a stupid fuck? Huh? What? Huh? Oh, it's done. It's been so long that I don't recognize myself anymore. We grab the gun and start mass crafting grenades. Oh, you gotta be fucked. Hey, has anyone seen the skeleton I put around here? Oh, it's done crafting. Wait, no. Afterwards, I head out to catch even more elites, almost filling up an entire box. And with this, we can get the final upgrade of the run, the PAL condenser. This machine allows you to condense 116 of the same PAL into one to make it even stronger. And this machine also works on humans. But there was one problem. I had grown attached. I couldn't sacrifice 116 of my subscribers. They were precious to me. Lisa Doodle, Mr. Doge, Ramo, Needless to say, I couldn't condense them. Instead, I went out and caught another 150 humans. And with the new humans, we condensed them all to create the perfect human. I gave our new companion the name Kaiser after my first follower. Not like on social media or anything. I mean, wherever I go. Stop stalking me. With the remaining humans, I condensed them into the rest of the party, making them even more powerful. I then boosted their stats even more by using PAL souls. And with this, we have created the theoretically strongest human in the game. And after walking out of the house, my PC crashed. Yep, and along with it, all my footage got corrupted. And when I logged into the game, the world save was gone. I luckily managed to get a backup, but losing all that footage was still really painful. But Wrath, didn't we just see you do all those things that you said you lost footage of? To which I gotta confess, I was lying! I'm a perfectionist at heart, so I went back out and captured another 150 humans just for footage. So not only do I have one fully upgraded human, but two! So nothing changed. No, not really. But I felt the need to tell you since I wasted another 8 hours farming humans. Now that we had two superhumans, I couldn't have them be named the same. So what did I change the name of the second human to? Lightning McQueen. With our superhumans in hand, there were only a few more upgrades we could get. We obtained a level 3 attack pendant from a loot drop, and then started running around opening chests for Rushmore bacon and eggs, a food item that can boost our attack by 10%. I also crafted a poison crossbow for the added poison status effect, and with these upgrades, we have reached the limit of how strong we can get. And so, we challenged the third Syndicate tower. And honestly, it was a breeze. Like, I can't even sugarcoat how easy of a fight this was. I might have overprepared a little because we've defeated him in less than 5 minutes. But with that out of the way, we've now completed our third Syndicate tower, and that puts us at a halfway point in this challenge. As a celebratory lap, we head out and wipe some more alphas, adding Mamorest, Cyberlex, Menacing, Anubis, Dinosaur Lux, Jormuntide, King Paka Crystallis, Lily Nocturne, Astegon, and finally, Blazamut, meaning we have defeated all 39 Alpha Pals in the game. The only remaining Alpha bosses we can find are the legendary Pals, which we'll get to later. But with all the Alphas wiped off the map, the only remaining task for us to do is beating the remaining Syndicate towers. So we go back to leveling, hit level 45, and attempt the next Syndicate tower, which sucks. And I mean hard. This boss fight was incredibly difficult, and was made even worse by the fact that his fire pal can't be frozen, and he would constantly put us on fire. So what glamorous plan did I have in mind to defeating this boss? chugging elixirs. Earlier, I said that I wouldn't be grinding elixirs, but while I was out and about, numerous loot drops would spawn with elixirs inside, and I had decided that I would use them later on in case of emergencies, and I felt that the moment was just right. So I drank all of them, making my stats go from this to this. An incredibly huge power spike. And with these enhanced stats, we take on the boss one final time. Yes! And with this Syndicate tower cleared, there was only one remaining. And to prepare for that fight, I started leveling again. And you know what? Let's just... bam! Level 50. With the new level cap reached, we face a new challenge, climbing the frozen mountain. Earlier, when I attempted this feat, I said it was impossible without a flying mount. So you know what I did? I started playing Fortnite. Wait, what? What do you mean you played Oh, he played Fortnite. With our new ability to crank 90s, we glide over to the Syndicate tower and claim the final fast travel point. We then directly head to the Syndicate tower and challenge the final boss. Victor and Shadowbeak are incredibly powerful, armed with AoE attacks, homing projectiles, and 2 laser attacks that can one-shot you if you get caught in it. The amount of times I died to this boss, I cannot count. I literally was at a breaking point fighting this boss, and nothing I did seemed to work. So, you wanna know what I did? Yeah, I broke the boss. I don't even know how I did it. When I opened the fight, they were stuck in the middle of the arena and couldn't move. Which is a shame, but of course, I'm not gonna pass on a free W. So I sprayed down Shadowbeak until he reaches 0 health, and claim my victory. Yes, theoretically I could beat the boss within the given time period, but I would rather not work another 2 months on this video. After leaving the Syndicate tower, we only have 4 bosses left, those being the legendary pals. The first one we're going to do is Frostallion, the one that gave me the most trouble. This boss doesn't do just a lot of damage, but it's also incredibly tanky. You deal only a measly 10 damage against the boss, so this fight is more like a battle of endurance. The best way to defeat it is to let your pals do the damage as you provide support through status effects like burn, poison, and stuns. This boss gave me a hard time, and it's the boss I have the most deaths against, with over 3 hours of footage just for this one singular boss, with 80% of the footage being of me dying. After a lot of dying, I had an ingenious way of dealing with Frostallion. Napalm. Incendiary grenades are the fire counterpart to the ice and shock grenades. but they have the added effect of being super effective against Frostallion. So most of the battles are just me hurling grenades at Frostallion, hoping it stands still long enough for the grenades to go off. And after a long streak of dying, I finally managed to defeat it. I then proceed to do a victory dance on its corpse. Next up, Jet Dragon. And I don't know what to say about this boss, so I'll just show you my first fight with it. The Jet Dragon fight was pretty easy, and I started dancing on its corpse too. That leaves the final two legendary pals, Palladius and Necromus. These pals were a pair, and you had to fight both of them at the same time. This would be impossible for us. However, there is an easy way to cheese them. All pals sleep during the night, except evil type pals. So if we fight Necromus at night and Palladius during the day, then we have a chance of winning. The only problem being that if we don't beat Necromus within the nighttime, Palladius will wake up and join the fight. And so, we started fighting.
We're done! We're done! Finally!
And with both pals defeated, we have officially beat the game. Oh man, I never want to do this again. And with that, that's the end of the child wait. Why is there still runtime left in the video? Why is the progress at 85.2%? What do you mean they added a new region? Oh, you gotta be Sakurajima is the newest region added to the game, essentially being Japan. They have it all: swamps, deserts, ninjas wanting to add you to their newest sushi recipe. They can be a bit special, but I gotta hand it to Pocket Pair. They did a great job at designing this region. It looks beautiful and has a lot of culture integrated into it. Well, obviously, they have to represent their culture, but I gotta ask Pocket Pair, was it really necessary introducing dogs with orbital strikes? This region comes with 2 new alphas, a whole new Syndicate tower, and a new level cap. And you don't want to know how long it took to get level 55. Getting to level 50 required 1.8 million XP, so I had to kill around 60 high level alphas. And you know what it takes to level up to level 55? 2 million XP each level. And each alpha drops around 30,000 XP. And you know what? Let's just... There. Level 55. I just spared you 15 hours of grinding. You're welcome. There was only one remaining upgrade for us in the game, being the final accessory slot. Getting the 4th and final slot is incredibly difficult, as you need to collect 1000 dog coins, which can only be found in scrap piles. Normally, when you search one, you get 1 to 6 dog coins. However, on Sakurajima, you get up to 20. So we go through scrap pile after scrap pile until we've compiled 1000 coins. We then buy our upgrade and this really cute hat. And with this, we prepare to face the final hurdles. The first alpha on the list is Naklam, who wasn't too hard to beat. And then we have Menacing Terra, which also wasn't too hard to beat. And then finally, we have the Syndicate Tower, the final boss of this challenge. Saya and Celine are a formidable duo, boasting several AoE attacks, dangerous homing projectiles, and a laser attack that almost every time kills you. This boss is incredibly hard and hits like a truck, but is very squishy with low defenses. And how did I defeat this incredibly difficult boss? I glitched her. Okay. Listen, it was on accident, but this time, I know why. Whenever I started the boss fights, I would pause my recordings in between the fights to spare space on my drive, and I would always unpause my recordings in the middle of the cutscenes so that I could record the whole fight. So what I'm assuming happened is that when I unpaused my recording, the game got locked in a freeze frame, and if you skip the cutscene within a small time frame, the boss would get frozen. Is this a stupid bug? Maybe. Would I exploit it? Definitely. So I gunned down Seiya and her pal and claimed my victory. But in the vast empty tower that became her tomb, I, alone, asked myself, did I truly win? This victory came with a heavy feeling of dissatisfaction. It didn't feel like a win. I hadn't earned it. So I went back into the fight and attempted it again. And while we're at it, let's re-challenge Victor and Shadowbeak. With proper victories under our belts, that was it. We had finally beaten every single boss in the game, and we did it without catching a single pal. Okay, I can explain. Earlier, when I went around capturing humans to be condensed, I accidentally caught a dire howl, and it was so late into the challenge that I did not want to restart. And as you can see, it is still level 10, and I never unlocked its pal saddle. So you're telling us that you went out and caught another one just to recreate the moment? Anyway, with that said, we have beat Palworld with only humans. But what about the raid boss? Alright, fine! I did attempt the raid bosses. I set up a new base, captured new humans, and even gave them all names. But when I went to summon the alpha, I couldn't. The slab fragments needed to be combined to summon the raid bosses, and the only way to combine the slabs was in an assembly line, a crafting station we cannot use. And as for the oil rig, it's impossible. I tried getting to it by gliding over, but before I could reach the platform, my stamina would run out, leaving me to drown. So that's it. This is as far as we can go. But I accomplished what I set out to do, beating all the bosses in Palworld with only humans. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content like this. Bye! Wait, what's that? No.